What's up YouTube, you're watching Team APS, and as we all know, the April 1st, 2015 format is almost on us. And so I've decided to give you guys 10 fun, cool decks you might want to try out this format. These aren't necessarily the top tier decks like Necroz, but they are really fun to try out, and the ban list helped a lot of these too. So let's get started. The first deck's one that's been getting quite a lot of attention lately, and that's Sylvans. Not only did Lonefire go to 3, but also you can run the new cards like Rose Lover and Rose Knight, which do help the deck quite a lot, and plus like Symbols of Heritage acts as sort of a mini soul charge to get back your Lonefire Blossoms. This is a really good deck because not only can it, make rank 7, rank 8 ADCs really quickly, but it's also just a whole lot of fun. I mean, not many decks really utilize the excavating mechanic except sort of Infernoids. And, Sylvans they're colorful, they're fun. I know that's a horrible reason to play a deck, but it's plants, it's Sylvans. They didn't get a lot of time in the limelight, but if you're one of those players who've always wanted to play them, now's a great time. After you pick up a couple of gold series packs, it's like smooth sailing. The next deck is Fire Fists. So, of course, Fire Fist Spirit got sent to 3, which is great because it means that you can now run 4 or 3 Axis Fire Fists, or you can combine them into 3.5 Axis Fire Fists. Rooster and Spirit make Kieran, and it's a load of fun. The Synchro version of Fire Fist is a lot faster. It's not nearly as grindy and sort of slow-paced and some would say boring as 4-Axis Fire Fist, so it's a great thing to try out. Next deck's Gladiator Beasts. So Bestiary is at 3, and that means that Glads do sort of have all of their power cards available to them. While they aren't able to exactly stand up to the meta very effectively, it is fun to have 3 copies of Bestiary. Now you can run things like Prisma Gladiators and feel safe whenever your opponent manages to bottomless trap all your Bestiary. You'll probably have to tech the deck out a bit if you want to stand up to the meta, but at least you don't have to worry about things like Vanity's Emptiness and Skill Drain popping up everywhere, so it's actually really a lot of fun. Especially if, like me, Ritual Beasts are a bit too complex and kind of pointless to you. Next deck's Lightsworn. So unfortunately, with the Dragon Rollers gone, Dragonsworn isn't really a thing anymore, but the good news is that, Charge of the Light Brigade's at 2. So Lightsworns do have an outlet to actually get to their monsters reliably now. And Honest is at 2, Necroguard is at 3, Judgment Dragon's at 3. The deck is still very powerful, and even though its consistency might not be quite up there where it needs to be, still a really fun deck. Give it a try if you kind of already have a lot of Lightsworn cards running around. They've all been reprinted loads of times, so picking up an extra copy of Charge should be really easy. Next we've got Dragoonities. So Dragon Ravine finally went to 1 like I've been hoping for quite a long time, and a lot of Dragoonity players I'm sure. Even though Dragoonities lost access to things like Tempest, and even though there's still only 1 Ravine, you can run things like Terraforming, and even if you run into multiples, once you search for Dragon Ravine, you can actually pitch cards like Terraforming from your hand to still make, plays with Dragon Ravine. So that's a whole lot of fun. Finally, Dragoonities can at least do something, and that says a whole lot for the Dragoonity fans out there. I think it's still a fun Dragon deck. You can still, make level 8 Synchros really easily, and they have a few Xyz plays. Plus, if you really want to, you can throw in a couple of the newer wind support cards and still get a lot of mileage out of the deck. Next is Yang Zings. This has been getting quite a lot of hype. Not only is Chao Fang happening in the next set, but Yang Zings don't have to worry about Vanity's Emptiness now. It's a card that could really shut the deck down because if Vanity's Emptiness got flipped on you and your opponent started attacking your Yang Zing monsters, it was just kind of nothing you could do. But now that that card's out of the way, Yang Zings can just sort of float, and then make all the powerful synchros with all those beneficial effects. Because for those who don't know, when you synchro with Yang Zing monsters, which you can do in your opponent's turn too, they gain different effects depending on what was used to synchro summon them. And when Chao Feng comes out, it'll be able to negate loads of effects as long as you use something like Xiaotou for it. You can negate things like Burning Abyss, Shaddolls. It's a great deck to look at and a whole lot of fun. The next deck is Blackwings. Blackwings actually got a load of cool new support in Premium Gold Return of the Bling. And so the deck isn't that bad now. Remember, it does have access to 3 Gale, 3 Whirlwind, 3 Kalute, so a lot of its power cards, they're all back, so it's a great thing to try out. If you need something that's fun to play and also kind of retro, then give Blackwings a look because you can make some really neat new combos with their new cards. So give it a try. Next is Heretics. Because Convocation went to 3, this deck can now do something. Unfortunately, it doesn't have access to Dragon Rulers, but believe it or not, Heretics are still a very fast and powerful deck that can pop out Xyz monsters really quickly. And believe it or not, they can make use of Dark Matter Dragon. So if you decide that you want to tech in things like Blue Eyes engines or some of the Galaxy Photon engines, it's still totally doable. And I would suggest it because you'll have loads of monsters you can send to the grave, and Dark Matter Dragon is still a powerful card. So, you know, if you haven't ever picked up Heretics or you feel like they left the scene, but maybe they need to come back, that was a great time to pick them up. Next deck, Six Samurai. So, Six Samurai got Shi 2, and a lot of people are like, oh, this is still a useless archetype, it can't do anything. But Six Samurai are actually very, very consistent. 3 Smoke Signal, 3 Rhoda, and now the ability to go into 2 Shien. Once you go into cards like Shien, you can actually have a very solid matchup against Necroz. And Cleave Forts, which by the way, I don't think are entirely dead. So Six Samurai do have good matchup coverage against a lot of the top tier decks. It just takes somebody to actually believe in their consistency and their power plays, and you can actually do really well. I think that Fields of Double Shien with back row set is still a really tough thing to break. So give it a try. And the last deck is, as much as I don't really like it, Heroes, because Anki just came out in Gold Series, and we're still going to be getting Blaze Man apparently in World Superstars. So it's really a pretty fun deck to experiment around with. You can mass change into a lot of creative different things. You don't just have to play the vanilla Shadow Mist to Dark Law version of this deck. There are a lot of things you can do, and it really is quite a lot of fun. So don't just play Heroes the same way everybody else has. Pick it up, have some fun with it, use Miracle Fusions, use different attributes. It's a good time. And those are the 10 decks that I think are really fun to play this format. Most of them are pretty cheap too, and even though they aren't necessarily at the top of the competitive line, it's fun, it's a new format, it's a good reason to go out and try new things. So that concludes the video. Please remember to leave deck ideas in the comments for other cool, fun decks you'd like to run this format. And of course, follow me on social networks and subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos. I will catch you guys later. See ya.